Shalom. I want to start off by saying all praises and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, whom I have learned this truth from. And salutations unto you, Akim and Aquathium, that do take heed in sincerity and in truth. Coming back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Alright. I was on the news a few days back and I came across this article from CP24, December 28th, 2019, right before, 4 days before the new year, or 3 days. And it says the top stories and trends that define the past decade in Canada. You know, and there's a few things to speak about on this article. It says, going right into it, Slaki, I'm a little bit under the weather. It says, the last decade in Canada has been one of seismic social changes. We've changed how we talk about gender, global politics, drugs, and what it means to be a Canadian. Here's how the discourse has evolved around several topics that define this country and the people who live here, right? And I have the point here, gender identity. Now, I'll give you a little backtrack because it says in 2011. I'll tell you straight up, when we came on the highways on Toronto through the Spirit of the Lord in 09, you know, 09, that's the end of a decade. 2010 we came into, and as you see, 2011, they started every decade. That's their thing. You know, when you take classes like social studies in school, which I took a lot of those classes, I took politics, you know, things that you study about society, so-called. Right, even geography, which is mapping, a little different, but nevertheless, it's dealing with societies. They have you believe, oh, these trends just come and go, and it's like the wind. We don't know where they come from and where they're going. No, these things are preset, man. These things are preset deliberately by your masters, the elite. Okay, who call you people goyim, which is sheep. You're just nothing but sheep to them. You're herded, right? So in 2009, 2010, the spirit was much different than it is now. And like, especially like now, it's crazy. Like even downtown going down the highways, I'm just like, flashback like 10 years ago, this shit was tenfold different, man. Just the spirit. Like you had sodomites and all those people, but now, man, you just don't know, man. You know what I mean? It's not even a joke. You're walking down the street and you see a thing. And you gotta second guess, you gotta analyze, you gotta calculate, you gotta meticulously think, damn, and really, if it gets to that point, like brothers came to that resolution, if it gets that deep, just forget about it. It's a fugazi, okay? Don't even waste your time trying to be analytical. But my point is, we live in a place where you have to analyze and see, yo, is this a woman I'm looking at, and she's looking good, or whatever the case is? Or is this something else? This is the place we live in, man. Babylon the Great, right? In 2011, a Toronto couple sparked a frenzy when they decided not to reveal the sex of their baby, Storm. You see, what kind of madness is this? I was doing something for my child the other day, setting up an appointment, and the thing asked if it was, what gender was it born, or what gender does it identify with, and you can put all kinds of things. You can put NA, you know what I mean? This place is bugged out, man. I remember I did a application for something, and it asked the same thing: what gender were you born? What gender do you identify yourself with? And even the worker that was doing it for me, she was looking at it, shaking her head. She didn't even understand. But that's the thing. Once you're in the system, which we know the word system means pit, etymologically, right? It means pit. It's a trap. These people in the system, as bugged out as it is, they'll just get swallowed up by it, and they will have no choice but to accept it. Really, when that chip comes, these people will have no choice. In their head, they can say, yeah, you know what, I heard this is the mark of the beast, but I gotta eat. My kids gotta eat. Do you know what I mean? The level of vitriol was outstanding, which, let's see what that word means. Bugged out people, man. You know? cruel and bitter criticism. Of course, man, because people are like, what are you guys doing, man? The level of vitriol was outstanding, said Mae Friedman, a professor specializing in gender identity at Ryerson University, which is where we prophesy. We prophesy on the grounds right by Ryerson University, and that's a highly demonic place, man. They got a statue of we did a documentary on it years ago through the Spirit about the residential schools, boarding schools in Canada, where you so-called white people, right? What did you do? You kidnapped a lot of Native American children from their villages, not just persuading them, but actually forcibly kidnapping them through your RCMP, your force, right? Your Royal Mounted Police Force, right? And you brought them to these schools where they were abused physically, sexually, mentally, spiritually. A lot of them died. A lot of them came out very messed up. So the guy that created the blueprint for their boarding schools, they have a statue of this guy on Ryerson University. I forget the devil's name, man, but he's right there. You know, they have another, I guess, bust, a statue, not a statue, but it's a bust of two Romans holding it, what it appears to be each other's genitals, right when you walk down Victoria Street, right? It's a very demonic place, man, and a lot of proud pieces of shit, you know, that go there. Noting people lashed out in person and online at the couple. Over the last 5 years, that concept slowly started becoming more acceptable. I wonder why. I still wouldn't say it's a common move, but in downtown urban centers, it's not completely outlandish like it was perceived as being in 2011, which was really not a long time ago. You see? That's just 10 years, man, and these people are getting more bold and proud, and you're telling me we're supposed to be here another 10 years, man? I don't want to be here another week. It says, Friedman said there was a clear... Friedman said there was a clear tipping point in the middle of the decade, 2015, which that was a highly demonic time, 2015, 16. I remember that the whole thing just switched, man. And this thing came full throttle around 2016, 2017. In the middle of the decade, where trans and gender fluid people were visible enough in media and where being trans and lessening the importance of gender norms to your children stopped being considered a radical idea. Today, people put their pronouns in their email signatures, and many bathrooms make a point of welcoming anyone who identifies as a man or woman to use them. Some places drop gendered washrooms altogether. But Friedman said there's still progress to be made, especially when it comes to transgender people of color. And they always push that shit on Jake, man. You gotta get more wicked. You gotta get more wicked than the wicked. But Friedman said, and Friedman, that's a Khazar, man. That's a nasty Amalekite, man. Alright? Still in progress to be made, especially when it comes to transgender people of color, who may not always be as visible represented in the media as white LGBTQ people. Again, Jake just trying to fucking get equal in wickedness with the devil, man. What kind of shit is that? You trying to get in the CEO businesses? You're trying to be next to this man. You know, you're trying to, whatever he's doing, I want to do. Why isn't he letting me do it? And all he's showing you, really, he's restricting you from doing wickedness to the point where you're lusting after it. And then, okay, here, open up the floodgates, and these stupid ass Jakes eat it up, man, like candy, right? Let's get this, man. This is the Overton window. Alright, so the Overton window, I had this demon next to me. It says, right, so this is a little illustration here. So as you see, it says, as you go from the bottom to the top, from the bottom, unthinkable, radical, then it becomes acceptable. So what they do is they present these ideas, but the real trick is, or the real witchcraft that works, right, is they lay these things in your subconscious a long time before they bring it out into the physical. And what I mean by that is, a lot of these actors, man, they've been switched. You know what I mean? If you don't know what I mean, then hey, you gotta go look it up. But a lot of people that you see are not what they seem to be, man. They're Decepticons, man. And they put these things in Disney when you were a kid, and different cartoons, and then certain movies you watch now, or I watch now, and I'm like, fuck, I watched this as a kid, and it's really fucked up. But you don't so-called rationally understand it, but it's in your head, man. You know what I mean? It's in your head. You know what I'm saying? So if that's in your head, man, then, you know, that's just gonna mess you up. You see, it becomes acceptable, then it becomes sensible, popular policy, right? So, yeah, basically, when you read this thing, it says the Overton window is the range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. It is also known as the window of discourse. The term is named after Joseph P. Overton, who stated that an idea's political viability depends mainly on whether it falls within this range, rather than on politicians' individual preferences. Right? Says Salakia. You can look at the illustrations here, right? Again, you start with unthinkable, right? Oh my God, like what they said. What did we just read? In 2011, it was radical, so many criticism, and then after, in the middle, it became acceptable and actually popular, and now it's being made policy. And again, man, this is just high-level witchcraft being at work. Whoever does not understand, you guys are bewitched, man. You're not seeing things clear, man. And that's why we always got to praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai for letting or giving us the eye self that we may see and that we may hear and understand. You can call it Hegelian dialectic, which is another term. Hegelian dialectic, usually presented in a threefold manner, was stated by Heinrich Moritz Chalebus. I think that's German. It says as comprising three dialectic stages of development: a thesis, giving rise to its reaction; an antithesis, which contradicts or negates the thesis; and the tension between the two being resolved by means of a synthesis, which is what all that is a bringing together. And funny enough, that's what the word confusion means. Con meaning with, fusion, mixing up, Babylon, confusion. You want a melting pot? That's confusion. You want to mix everything in together, all ideas and peoples? That's confusion. The Lord is a separatist, meaning what? He's a man of truth. He is not the author of confusion, as it states in 1 Corinthians, was that 14? You see how it sounds sweet, everyone together, living peaceably, loving each other. But look, man, you got Koreatown, Chinatown, Greek town. Everyone has their own shit, man. You go to jail, everybody's on their own shit. Everyone is tribalistic at the end of the day, man. There's always a few rules, Salaki, exceptions to the rules, for the most part. In more simplistic terms, one can consider it thus: problem, reaction, solution, which is another elitist term. These people give you they make the problem. 9/11, that was a problem made by the elites. They received the reaction from the people, and then they gave their solution. So between these three, they're really between the people. If you look at it, they are the problem. They create the problem, right? Take their time, reaction, and boom, they have you boxed in. They create the solution to where you're boxed in, and you have nowhere to go because there's a big problem. You're scared. You're panicking. You're anxious, man. You know what I mean? You're full of fear. You want the government to help you. Although this model is often named after Hegel, he himself never used that specific formulation. Okay, and that was really it on that. These things are all, that these devils do. It's all through witchcraft. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And let's look up that word devices. No'ama, which means a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose. See? That which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes. Down here in the Strong's, a perception, example, purpose. Device, mind, thought. So these people devise. Hey, it says in the book of Psalms. Psalms 36:4. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. These devils, man, they go to bed dreaming of what next thing they can do. Because why? They are the sons of perdition. They are the wicked upon the earth, man, that are meant to rule in wickedness with an iron fist, so to speak, or that whatever the term is, man. They're through their draconian regulations, man. They're very cruel. It's a cruel beast that we're dealing with, man. Okay. So with that, I hope you're edified. I just want to bring that out because these things change, man. These things change, but not through so-called natural ways. The Most High, there's nothing natural. It's all the Most High. At the end of the day, He sets the trends, man. I want to say, Kal Halalim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of GMS, whom I have learned this truth from, and salutations unto you Akim and Aquathim that do take heed. Until next time, Lord's will, I say Shalom.